Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have some more shop equipment coming. UPS hasn't showed up yet, but imagine they'll be here before very long. But what we ended up ordering was a plasma cutter. So as y'all know, in a few videos back, it's been a couple weeks for me, we bought the Lincoln 180 HD welder, the bottle and all that stuff for welding, obviously. Well, after buying that, hopped on Amazon, one of those spur of the moment decisions, and ordered a plasma cutter. So as soon as it gets in here, we're going to do an unboxing. We're not going to get to using it today. Don't have a whole lot of time, but we'll get it unboxed. We'll take a look at it and see what we think. Alrighty, guys, so we have here our plasma cutter. I'm going to turn the light on, grab a knife. We'll get this thing opened up and take a look. Okay, so cracking into the box here, one thing we'll say seems to be packaged pretty well. We have lots and lots of packing tape, and then you open the box and you have this thin, looks like plywood, but it's not plywood, it's a little thin for that. But you have that lining the entire box, so that's pretty cool. And here you have consumables, yeah, here. You have your hose clamps for attaching your hoses, and they give you some Teflon tape. We're probably not going to use this Teflon tape, but I guess it is nice that they give it to you, and an Allen wrench of some sorts. So I'm going to pull this out of here. We will get into this in a second. That is one nice thing about this particular unit. Okay, so I got everything kind of out of the box. And if you're wondering why I have a blanket over my feet and it's summertime, that is because broken glass in here. I'm going to say that is the filter, or was the filter for this little hand, I don't even know what you would call this. It's like a welding mask, I guess. You can hold it handheld, I guess. I'm gonna throw that away. Not gonna use that. But the lens is all busted in the bottom of this, and now it's all over the floor. But kind of aside from that, we do have our plasma cutter here. So it's pretty nice. Seems pretty nice. You know, I kind of looked over everything. They have a digital readout. Connections down here. This will be your voltages and whatnot. And then on the back, one thing that is kind of weird about this one is the on-off is here on the back of the unit, which, you know, is what it is. So one thing that's really the reason why we ordered this one, as you can see here, let me unplug this real quick. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a 220 plug-in, and luckily it's actually the same as our welders, and the only 220 port that we have in our shop. And then they give you this little adapter harness that takes 220 and goes into 110. That way you can operate this as a bit of a dual voltage system. But that is one nice thing about this, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Some more things kind of included here. They do give you a chipping hammer slash wire brush. You do get a regulator with a gauge, kind of odd. I've never seen a gauge like this. And then they give you a bracket to mount your regulator, basically for mounting. Loosen this little ring right here. Your bracket slips over, and it does have a little index, focus. It does have a little index right there and right here, so you can clock this in different ways for your needs. Now, with the regulator, it did come with 2 barb fittings. When we was looking at these, they might be alright. We might get different ones. I just have to see. But there we go. So that's a little bit better. That way you can see the barb fitting. Not much of a barb. That's what me and him was just talking about a minute ago. They also do give you some stuff in here. I think I figured that that Allen key and those little screws are to mount this little bracket right here, right there. So that'll mount your regulator. And then as far as the regulator goes, you do have a tube here, which I believe, if I remember correctly, is for your gauge. So now in this, another thing we may or may not use is these hose clamps. Some of the cheaper hose clamps will strip out. I don't know, we'll just have to see. And then this Teflon tape. I know sometimes supplied Teflon tape isn't the best thing in the world, so we might just go ahead and use our own since we do have some here. But moving on, we have our ground clamp. Now, I watched a couple videos on this, and this does seem to be a very nice ground clamp. Pretty good clamping pressure. And one thing that is nice, as you can see down in here, is you do have copper that goes to both of the bolts on this. So it's not like our welder, one of our welders, where you have a favored side. You know, this one has copper connected to both sides, so it should be even. And then this will plug in to the front up here. Alright, so moving on is now we have our torch assembly. So I was just looking at this, and this does feel like a pretty nice torch. You have rubber on the grips here, it's nice in the hand, and then your button is on the bottom. Now I have seen some of these where the button is on the top, which would be a bit different for me to get used to. But do have some pretty nice sheathing on the supply for your torch, I guess you would call it. And then another cool thing that I had noticed was this does swivel on the base of the torch. Now it's like my grandpa said, it could cause an issue with a leak. We'll just have to see as that goes. And then you also have a bit of a flexible joint here at the end. So this is your power plug-in on the front. Now it is keyed, so you can't, it'll only go on one way. So there's that, and then your air supply. Now this air supply does have this cover for like a bit of a thumb screw. You can take it off and you can use an actual wrench on this if you would like, or like I said, that is keyed to the size if you want to do it that way. So there it is, pretty nice. I guess it's pretty nice. We've never had a plasma cutter, so we'll have to hook this up here in a couple days or so and give it a shot. Alright guys, so it is the next day, but I kind of got this thing kind of loosely assembled. Nothing's tightened. We don't have any sealant on the back, but I figured I would give y'all a view of how everything looks, or should look, once this thing is assembled. So one thing that's rather interesting is this tube, for one. Probably going to replace that with a rubber hose. This tube that they send is pretty stiff, and it doesn't really fit the barbs on the regulator there. So, like I said, we're probably gonna get a rubber hose and take care of that, shorten it up a good bit, and get rid of this super stiff hose. And a rubber hose will bite onto those barb fittings a lot better, especially with our hose clamps. Another thing that we're probably going to change out is this regulator and gauge. We talked about that a little bit. That gauge seems very cheap. I don't know about the regulator. I don't know if it leaks or anything. We haven't hooked it up to air, and that leads me into another thing that we're going to change is the air supply. So air supply is on this side of the regulator, flows through that tube up here to your torch. But as you can see, on the air inlet side is another barbed fitting. I guess if you're using the thing all the time, that wouldn't be a big deal. But we don't have an air hose that's going to be strictly for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that barb fitting off and go get a quick connect. That way we can just plug it right into our air hose and we will be good to go. But that is essentially, that's it. One thing I did want to kind of talk about is why we purchased this particular unit. Friday, I believe it was. I was looking through YouTube wanting to get a plasma cutter and come across a couple videos of the eBay Cut 50s. But one thing about them is they were all 220 only. They weren't like a dual voltage type of deal. And then we came across a video, a guy, I don't remember his YouTube channel, but I will put it up here on the screen. So, that is his video. It's a really good video. He hooks his up and does some cutting and whatnot on his and kind of compares it to an angle grinder and a Portaband. So, go check out his video. It's a really good video. I don't know him in any way, shape, or form. I just ran across the video. But, as he mentioned, you know, kind of the nice thing about this is, say if we were doing something up here in the house or, you know, at a friend's house or something like that, and they don't have 220, we don't have 220 up here at the house, you can take and still use your plasma cutter. Our shop only has one 220 plug over there by the first door, by the lock door. So that's kind of the nice thing about this. You can use 110, plug it up, run your extension cord, whatever you need to do. You don't have to have a big 220 extension cord or anything like that. So that is nice as well. They give you, I mean, the power cord's not too long, but your leads for your torch and your ground are pretty long. I'll have to look and see exactly what the links are on those. Anyway, after double checking, I wanted to make sure that way I didn't give y'all any false information. But on your ground cable, you do get 10 foot, and then on your torch, you get 13 feet. So, I mean, that's pretty good. It would be nice, especially if you're working in a car or something like that. You don't have to constantly be moving the machine around. You can put it on a cart or in a centralized spot, and you don't have to move it around. And also on this machine, on 220, they say that it will do up to 1/2 inch thick steel. So, I don't know. We'll have to try that, but I will keep y'all updated. We purchased this to build some step brackets for my F-150. I will put a picture of it up here on the screen. On that truck, if y'all haven't noticed in the last few videos, or if you're new here, we've been cutting up some factory step brackets off of a newer truck to make it work on my older truck. And then after we get them all cut up and where we want them, we're going to take this plasma cutter and we're going to cut a whole new set of brackets that are all seamless and all nice and all that stuff. So that's why we purchased this. Now, another thing, I will put a link to this plasma cutter down below in the description of the video. It's not an affiliate link or anything at the time of filming this video. I don't have an affiliate link or anything like that for Amazon. This is not sponsored. I bought this with my money. So, but I will put that down there for y'all. Overall, it seems like a really nice unit. Some of the little stuff, you know, like they send, like the tube and the regulator, that kind of thing, does seem kind of cheap, but I mean, that's all replaceable stuff, pretty easily replaceable. So, like I said, we're not going to get to use this plasma cutter in this video. Don't really have a lot of time for that, but I will make another video when we do our step brackets, and I will keep y'all updated. So with that being said, guys, that's probably going to be a wrap for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video or found it helpful, please drop a like and comment down below. Smash that subscribe button. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope everybody has a great day.